So, Dino, it's 3 months since MIPIM, if you can believe that.
I know, gone quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I can believe it because we've been very busy. We've crammed a lot into those 3 months, but, you know, not everyone has been thinking about MIPIM in those 3 months because they did it and now they're on to other things, but we have been, haven't we?
We have, yes.
Where are we up to?
Well, pretty much as soon as we came back, we had a post-MIPIM dinner a month after MIPIM, and that's where we chose to launch our 2026 options, which I'm very excited about. They look, hopefully they'll do even more than what we were able to do this year.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we said when we were still in Cannes was that it would be, we felt like it had gone well, but it would be important for us to speak to people to see what they thought.
Yeah.
And I think largely the feedback has been very good, and we're hearing that there's positive conversations have been going on in the follow-up. You know, our local authority partners are speaking to the private sector, and it all seems very, very positive, and that kind of informed our thinking for next year's offering.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely it has. And of course, you know, some of those conversations take a long time to actually yield a return. You know, it may take, 6 months, 9 months, a year, or even more. But yeah, we've heard from some of the local authority partners that we had that they've continued to keep the conversation going with certain investors and certain funds and REITs, which is fantastic news to hear. And I think, you know, we will be able to hopefully report on some deals done, which is the ultimate sort of aim of MIPIM, isn't it? But we've had a big take up already. You know, I think we're up to about 15 partners, which, you know, that has to be the, you know, an ultimate sort of acid test, is if people liked it and they came again. So so far so good with that. The north of England is already launching and away.
Yeah, we're very much up and running. Couple of stats, if I can remember off the top of my head, from our MIPIM output. So 1,000 people, just shy of 1,000 people came to our events and sessions at MIPIM.
Incredible number, really.
46,000 reads on 36 news articles that we did as well. So, you know, we put in the work out there, but obviously, as we always say, it's all about the follow-up, and the follow-up for us began as soon as we touched back down, pretty much. So you were mentioning before about some new things that we've got for 2026. So tell us a bit more about those.
Yeah. So you're right. I mean, we were very pleased with it. That's one thing. But obviously, the clients are the towns and cities, are the developers, are all the partners, you know, feeling that. And I think I would like to think, and you know, that they have. Obviously, some of this stuff doesn't happen straight away. You know, people do have to have a think about it. They have to take it to board. They have to wait for certain metrics, but we are able to give immediate metrics through, you know, for certain things like readership and exposure and take up and all of that. So the new things that we have added for 2026 for next year include some fundamental things that are built into what we're doing, which I think add extra value, and then some actual, you know, tactics. So next year, or now for next year, everything that we do will include a MIPIM pass.
Okay, and that's because this year, 2025, that wasn't the case, right?
That's right. That's right. There were entry-level ways in which you could get involved with what the north of England was doing at MIPIM. But you know, for many years, people have said, "Oh, you know, there's ways of doing MIPIM, this, and you know, doing stuff in Cannes, maybe going to show, maybe not." I'm a firm believer that, you know, if you're going to spend 5 days of your time going to, you know, the biggest and best event of its kind, why wouldn't you make the most of your time there?
You've got to be inside.
You do. And obviously we've got an agreement which is, you know, with our the organisers, in which I'm using to the best of my ability to give the north of England the very best value, as well as the best opportunity. So we built in tickets into everything that we're doing at MIPIM next year, which I think will be hardly noticeable from a cost point of view for clients, you know. So that's one important thing to say. The other addition is that we are now doing all of our events within the cordon of MIPIM. So we're using various different venues within the show, which I think will add a certain level of gravitas that maybe previously wasn't there, and also guarantees, you know, that you're going to get the right level of people in the right spaces. So that's good. And then two new events, which...
Yeah, this is really exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, we're really pleased about this. This is something that is a reflection on the market, but also on speaks to what we've been doing with MIPIM over the last few years, and particularly last year, and then obviously going into next. So industrial logistics is one of the hottest sectors in the property game at the moment, and for a number of reasons, it's not really a conversation that is being had at MIPIM in any real, earnest gusto way.
Yeah, it's really strange. I know they have shed masters later in the year for that industry, but yeah, it's conspicuous by its absence from MIPIM. We were there this year, and there's a big hole there. So we've sought to fill that, and we've got some support for that as well already.
Exactly. Yeah. So we've got this breakfast conference, which is a format that we've done for a few years, but it's on industrial logistics for the north of England, and we're very pleased to have Tritax Big Box and Caddick take up an immediate support of that event.
Yeah, two big names,
very big names, very good in their field, and so that gave us the confidence to continue to take that sort of conversation story forward. It's also quite an interesting time for the north of England because, arguably we have the land and the space for the best industrial logistics offering in the United Kingdom. And so, albeit, people come to MIPIM, from all over the world to invest in maybe a wider UK, I would say the North is in the best position in the UK in order to sell its industrial logistics offering.
Yeah, certainly in terms of that, the question around power, we know that the land around London very constrained in terms of power. We have power up here. Yeah. So yeah, big opportunity for us in the North.
Yeah, exactly. So that conversation is happening. So anybody who's interested in industrial logistics should get involved. And then the other thing, which is another step along the road to creating, if there is such a thing, a perfect MIPIM for people, is that we've heard over the years around how do I meet new people? How do I get in front of different markets rather than seeing the same people that you can see notionally, back at home in the UK? And there's a balance in this. Obviously, it's important to see and can maintain relationships, but for certain markets that drive the industry, chiefly cities, towns, and developers, those entities often find that they're not getting the opportunity to talk to the investment market on a wide scale, facilitated for them. And that's something that we have seen others, frankly, just not attempt to do very well.
Yeah.
Or they've well, I don't even know if they've attempted to do it. I'm hearing that it's not being done. So we are very pleased to have created a Northern Investment Breakfast, which will be a closed door event.
How's that going to work?
Yes, it's a little different. So the way we foresee this working is that it will be inside the UK hub, which is where Place North had its stand and its meeting space and all of the activity that we did last year. So it's going to be inside that space, and it's going to be in the morning, and it will be open to just a certain element of our delegations, because of course, speaking to the world's investment market isn't for every single part of the property industry. So it'll be open to our towns and city chief executive leaders, heads of place, our developer partners, and the sponsors of those events. So we're probably looking at a room full of maybe no more than 100 people. And again, tackling it in a way that actually is a practical application. So nobody's going to sit there and pitch what fantastic opportunities they've got for investing in their towns and cities. There's opportunity to do that all the way through the week, and we'll be doing that. But this is to give as much face time and opportunity for individuals to meet as many of those international investors and developers as they can.
Yeah.
So it's a pure business-to-business networking breakfast.
How are we going to make sure we get the right faces in front of our delegation in that room? So what sort of investors are we going to get in that space?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're working with MIPIM to do this. It's a new thing that they've not done before.
Okay.
And again, that's quite exciting for us to be able to facilitate this. So we're working with their database and their reach for international investors and REITs to come along and be part of it. We obviously have our own database and reach, of course, which is well known, and we'll be inviting UK investors to that event. But we'll be working in tandem with RX to basically reach out to all those that come to MIPIM and say, I want to put my money in the UK, and speak to them and bring them to the table, essentially.
Yeah. So altogether, we've got 5 sessions.
Yeah. So and indeed, we've also increased the the time the North of England has on the UK stage. This is an opportunity for us to put forward the best of the North to the wider world on the UK stage. I have to say, I think the UK hub worked really well as a sort of conduit for all of the opportunities in the UK. I think it worked well. So considering it's its first year in that format, we were really pleased to be part of it, and hence why we've decided to do that and not go and open our own pavilion.
Yeah.
So yeah, 5 sessions. It may increase. Demand is pretty high for what we're doing already, and we've had returning clients. So really pleased to see WSP, who came as our prestige partner last year, come straight back and do the same thing again. Come straight in at the top level. So they obviously must have thought that was worth their investment. Nice to see first time clients of ours. People like Chambers Capital, an SME developer. Coming back as well, and then bringing returning guests like Studio Hoodless and Hatch and others coming, and then new people like Hodder and Partners, obviously a well-known name,
Very well known, yeah.
coming and choosing Place North. So that will build. I imagine from September onwards, after the summer, when people really focus on what they're doing in March, we'll see a big uptick. But my sort of ask is always, don't leave it too late. It's better planned, it's better organised if you can do it in advance, and hand it over to us, and we'll make sure that your MIPIM is delivered, rather than you holding on to it and then doing it last minute. I mean, there's lots of ways in which to find the information. I mean, we're obviously a digital platform. There is a microsite, which we had last year and we've expanded. So you can go on there and find out, the packages, the costs, the details. We've built it in a way that hopefully is really self-explanatory, and that's makes it easy for you when you want to, find out, where to go. You can just come and get in contact with us and tell us what you'd like to do. If you need a bit more convincing, obviously you can pick up the phone and speak to us, but actually there is a results document on there, on the microsite, which is on Place Northwest, Place Yorkshire and Place Northeast. And you can go on there and you can see all the results from this year, how many reads, how many events, how many people on stage, what we did, and then, that will give you a background.
Yeah, it's a great recap of what we did, somehow condensed into a few pages.
Yeah, I mean, it is only just a summary. It doesn't reflect really the actual activity on the ground, which, handshakes, business decisions, business meetings. We'll never know that. It's really hard to know the reality of the business that comes out of MIPIM on a group scale, on a delegation scale. But, I think you can measure the measurables, which is, are people coming back?
Exactly.
Have people said that they liked it, and those sorts of things. And I think, the speed in which people have signed back up would suggest that it was worth their investment. And, and that was only year one, right? So we've improved things, we've added things, we're very mindful of how to grow it. We're not just growing it for the sake of numbers. We want to make sure that there's real combined opportunity across the different patches of the North for the private sector that may have offices in different cities. This is about making sure that Yorkshire gets its fair share, that the Northeast gets its coverage, that the Northwest does, and we're having a number of good conversations now with combined authorities across those patches. Places that haven't been to MIPIM for years are now thinking of coming with us as a North entity, and their first step back into the international investment market, which I'm encouraged about. Unfortunately, not quite over the line yet, so I can't talk about them right now on this video, but by the time you're watching this, maybe they have.
Yeah, another 9 months to go till MIPIM, so plenty of time.
Plenty of time
for all of that. But, yeah. Brilliant.